There is a nearly universal gravity to a boarded-up window or a violently overgrown dirt road. Humans are deeply drawn to local lore, and that curiosity often drives us to push past physical boundaries just to see what time has left behind. When we look at a decaying building, we project a specific assumption onto it. We assume that because a place is dead and frozen in time, it must be entirely empty. This diagram illustrates the psychological threshold. It is the precise moment when curiosity ends and you cross a specific line into deliberate violation. You are stepping into territory that belongs to an unknown entity. Consider the scale of this environment. This is a Cold War-era military base, abandoned in the 1980s. A group of high schoolers, chasing rumors, sought out this isolated complex in the middle of the night to see it for themselves. Others are drawn to different kinds of decay. A couple decided to spend a night scavenging inside a collapsing rural home, while a teenager, dared by his friends, pried open the window of a house left empty after his neighbor passed away inside. These intruders had different motivations, ranging from scavenging to answering a dare. Yet they all shared a single vulnerability. They assumed that they were the only active presences in these forgotten spaces. Long before any encounter occurs, the architecture itself acts as a warning system. Extreme physical decay creates an environment that rejects the living, using structural danger and visceral disgust to repel anyone who enters. The high schoolers experienced this rejection on a massive scale. Bypassing the security gates, they found an entire neighborhood left to rot. Barracks with peeling paint and boarded-up windows lined the streets, creating a warped and unnatural town. Inside the rural home, the hostility was structural. The front door was boarded shut, and the living room was missing half its floor, revealing a black void into the basement. Every step threatened a collapse, as if the house were waiting to swallow them. For the teenager breaking into his neighbor's home, the rejection was sensory. The moment he slid open the window, he was hit by the smell of death. The kitchen, with its dusty pots and half-finished coffee mug, still held the thick stench of a man who had rotted away in isolation. These environments do not sit passively in the background. Their decaying structures and the odors they trap serve as active warnings to turn back before disturbing whatever actually resides there. In every trespass, there is a pivot point. The moment the exploration transforms into a confrontation, it almost always begins with the shattering of silence. Deep inside one of the military houses, the high schoolers suddenly froze. From the floor above, heavy wood creaking echoed through the ceiling, mimicking the rhythm of a person walking. When one of the teens shouted into the house, the footsteps abruptly stopped. In the dilapidated house, a man separated from his girlfriend to investigate a noise. As he approached a back bedroom, the creaking of floorboards was joined by a low, rhythmic humming. Someone was sitting in the darkness, singing a melody to themselves. Standing in his dead neighbor's bedroom, the teenager heard a violently loud bang against the wall. It was the unmistakable sound of something heavy slamming into the drywall in a home that was supposed to be vacant. These auditory shifts represent the moment the intruders realize their presence has been acknowledged. The silence of the abandoned space has been replaced by the sound of someone or something watching. The boundary is fully broken. The residents of these spaces physically materialize to confront those who invaded their territory. The teens sprinted out of the military base, only to find a tall woman in a filthy black dress waiting for them. She had already opened the car door and was halfway into the back seat of their vehicle before a scream sent her running back. In the rural house, the boyfriend stood paralyzed in the bedroom doorway. Sitting in a rocking chair was a wrinkled old woman. She slowly rocked back and forth, entirely unfazed by the intruders, offering them only that low, continuous hum. Back in the safety of their own home, the teenager and his friends looked out the window at the neighbor's house. Standing in the darkness was a dense silhouette. As the boys watched, the figure slowly shifted from the interior doorway, stepping directly in front of the glass to look back at them. Encounters like these bypass rational thought. The human brain recognizes a threat it cannot explain and triggers an immediate and blinding panic. The response is absolute physical desperation. The high schoolers drove blindly down an overgrown dirt road, nearly crashing as they fishtailed. The couple in the rural house abandoned any caution, sprinting over the rotting floors to reach the exit. The experience ends when the intruders realize they were never the dominant force in the room. They arrived as observers, but they fled as people who had stayed far too long in a space that belonged to someone else. Escaping the physical danger of the building does not end the experience. The psychological haunting of a trespass outlasts the structure itself. These 3 cases share a chilling detail. Shortly after each encounter, the physical spaces were destroyed. The military village, the rural home, and the neighbor's house were all completely leveled by heavy machinery, leaving behind only empty dirt. This erasure creates a unique psychological torment. Without a building to point to, the survivors have no physical proof of what they experienced, leaving them to endlessly question their own memories. Stepping over a threshold into a forgotten space is an irreversible gamble. The cost of entry is a creeping dread that follows you long after you return to the safety of your own home. Forgotten spaces are rarely empty. When we push past the warnings to satisfy our curiosity, we risk attaching ourselves to the lingering trauma that these spaces still hold.